Yeah. Idiots. Idiots. You hear me? Just idiots. I don't even know what to call them. And then they give all the rest of us a bad name. Not that I'll ever freaking, go to South Korea, but still, you never know. What if I do? But they just give everybody a bad name then. Sad. You know, when I think about all these people that have all this money and they pretty much figured out the game, they don't really have to do much anymore. And they mess it all up. Being stupid. And it's just amazing to me. I don't know how people can be so stupid. Mess everything up. Never gonna get that chance again. Never. And it's like, maybe they should never get it again. They're that dumb with it. Move over and let other people have it. That whole pranking shit's ridiculous anyway. That Jack Doherty just found that out. That kid's a little punk too. I'm glad all these, nuisance streamers are finding out what's up. Because they're never gonna stop otherwise. Just gonna keep being a freaking nuisance streamer forever. So I'm glad. But yeah, could you imagine being that Vitaly guy? Holy fuck. Stuck in a sweaty, gross, claustrophobic, rat, roach, disease infested place, knowing that just a few months earlier you had all this money and were able to do all this stuff, but you can't anymore because you're an idiot. That would be rough. I don't know, man. That would be rough. I don't feel bad for him though. Fuck him. And I haven't heard anything about him either for a while, so he's still alive in there. But same with that Johnny Salami. He's another one, and he's really pissed me off because the shit he did was super disrespectful. He didn't just go there and be a nuisance. He went there and was malicious. He went there and tried to cause drama, but like real drama, not just like BS drama. He went there like pissing on war monuments, and yeah, respect is big over there. Respect is big everywhere, but it's really big in those countries. Asia, the East in general is a very respect-driven culture, and you gotta respect, right? You gotta respect their respect. And you go over there and you're a foreigner. See, that's the thing that I don't think these guys are understanding. They think everything is America, and it's like it's not. And they think, well, I can do this. I got away with it in America. And then they do something stupid like they do and get busted, and then wonder why, people aren't running to their defense. And it's quite simple. It's because you're an asshole. That's why. It's too bad, too. It's like you want to see, at least me, I see a YouTuber I like, and it's like, it's nice to see him progress. It would have been nice to see that Vitaly and Salami get out of the whole, nuisance streaming BS, but just couldn't do it, I guess. Just couldn't do it. And it's like, if they're lucky, they'll get out of jail broke after lawyer fees. It's like, what's it cost to get a lawyer in freaking South Korea or in the Philippines? And it's like, in that Vitaly guy's case, in his case, it's like he won't even be like heard for another couple years. They're so backlogged over there. that he won't even be heard for like a while. And then what, you know? He can't get any help from embassies, you know. Russia and America aren't going to do anything to help him. So he's kind of just like kind of screwed. He's got to kind of just sit there and wait with all the people that are in jail that hate his guts. You know, in some of those jails, you got to take care of yourself. You know, you got to have people on the outside that'll bring you stuff to help you survive. So it's like, how does that work? Is his money any good in there? Does it help him out in there? I don't know. You know, you have to like pay some guard to go out and get your freaking toiletries and stuff? Pretty crazy, you know? I don't know. Let's see what we can do here. I'm gonna make this wall look a little... Yeah, so it's like you gotta pay people to help you out. How do you get all your stuff? Because in jail there, I've seen a couple documentaries about the jails in, you know, in the Philippines especially, and they're no joke, man. You don't want to be in there. You don't want to be in that place. You do not want to be there. And a lot of them had to get help from their family. It's like a collective punishment when you get busted over there. You know, you're in the shitter, and then your family is having to pretty much support you while you're in jail, while you're not able to support them. So it's kind of a collective thing. I bet it works pretty well. People are like, you go to jail again and I'll divorce you because I had to take care of everything and your dumbass while you were in there. So I can see that being like that. Got a bunch of sludge coming over the edge of this wall here from the big new city. Over spilling over into the poor people's part of town. Yeah, I would never want that to happen to me. God, please don't ever put me in a position where I'm such an idiot that I'm in jail in the Philippines. Yeah, I think the first time I saw one of those documentaries of being in jail in the Philippines, it was Locked Up Abroad. It was an old show from back in the day, and it showed people, mainly Western people, who had gotten caught, you know, usually trafficking drugs, and they would get busted, and yeah, wouldn't be good. So we'll put some kind of spots in the wall here where it's kind of falling apart. Yeah, you don't want to be stuck in one of those places, man. Always, you know, it was always muling. It was always drug muling. These people they'd be, oh, I just wanted to get into this country and have a great time. And, you know, usually they're there, you know, on vacation, young, stupid. And, you know, these mule people, they know. These young, dumb idiots will do it. And they go tell them, hey, you want to make 15 grand tomorrow? Yeah, what do I gotta do? Oh, nothing. Just stick this freaking, you know, stick whatever the hell I got here in your backpack, you know, and we'll do it all professionally, and to the young people it looks good, and then maybe even it works a couple times, so they're like, oh, it worked, so what's the problem? You know, and, that's the worst thing, is false confidence of it working. That's the biggest problem. And they go a couple more times, and then eventually they get busted just out of a sting or just a random search. Or believe it or not, just because you're white doesn't mean you're gonna get away with everything. You know, if you're a white person and you go to some country where you're the minority, you know, a lot of times those cops will yank you out of line and search you for whoever knows, for whatever reason, just to hold a little lord over some white people type thing, or just because they know, well, it might be a mule. Who knows? Either way, they do it, so I never understood it. I never understood it. The fast money I never understood. You know, I could sell this stuff and get rich really quick. And it's like, yeah, but then you're in jail with Vitaly. And that sucks. You know? I don't know. You know, I want to make a bunch of money as much as the next person, but not like that. Not in a way where it's going to ruin my life. You know, like, how long ago did that happen to Vitaly? That was like 6-8 months ago. They said it's going to take a few years to get seen. Years just to get seen. And then they told him, you know, you're looking at 7 to 10 years and we're going to make an example out of you. They flat out said that. Because we don't need any nuisance bullshit in the Philippines. And it's just like, man, he's screwed. He's screwed. It's that simple. Same with Salami. And Salami guy, he was, the stuff he was doing was, he was getting into, you know, AI deepfakes and stuff that's considered highly illegal over there. So, man, I really watch it. And he was the worst, though. He was just a little twerp. Going around and causing bullshit. There was like whole posses of people after that guy in South Korea there. And good for them. They were like, you know, following him around on your live stream. You can have your location on. So I think he was stupid enough to have his location on while he was desecrating monuments and that kind of thing. So they, random people caught up with him and just like kicked his ass in the street. Wait for him to get out of a hotel or a restaurant and just beat him up in the street. You know, he gets beat up and then he gets arrested. And it's like, what do you expect? And you're over there, you know, doing lewd things with like war monuments and, wow. Don't do that kind of stuff, people. You know. That one guy got shot doing that in the mall. That one guy that was messing with the dude, sticking his phone in his face. Check this out, check this out. The dude ended up shooting him. And it sucks because then you kind of, you know, mess up somebody else's life when you're doing those pranks. Because, yeah, if I'm walking around and you come up and you try to, like, grab my kid as some, like, prank, you know, and I blow you away or I break your nose or I fucking snap your arm or something, like, now I might get in trouble just because I did that, you know? And it's like, thanks. Thanks a lot, man. So awesome. So, the whole pranking thing has gone pretty far, if you ask this kid. Yeah, we'll put the big cracks in the wall like such. Yeah, nice big cracks in the wall. Just signify the cracking of society. No, I don't know. It's not to signify anything. Yeah, they're talking more and more about that lab-grown meat, you know, carbon footprints and all this shit. It's funny because the developing world, which is the people that are, you know, the ones that should be, you know, watching out, learning from the West and everything we know about pollution and stuff today, and we should be helping them try to get their emissions under control, like China and India, Africa, and the developing world, because we already know what to do. It's them who are making all the emissions that we need to get under control. But then it's pretty self-righteous for us Westerners to go and tell China and India and whoever to not do all the shit we did just because they'll ruin the world. You know, you gotta understand that point of view. It does seem kind of self-righteous to do that. So I can understand that point of view. I get it. I get it. Let's put some like stuff in the wall here. So that's the biggest thing, if you ask me. You know, it's the developing world that's, you know, What the hell does Germany or Canada need to be carbon neutral for when Canada and Germany together make up like 1.5% of the world's emissions? And China and India together make up like 60% of the emissions. You see what I'm saying? Why should I eat cricket powder and ride my bike to work in the snow while fucking John Kerry is on his 37th private jet flight of the year? You know? Come on. It's a sham, dude. It's a sham, people. Come on. It's gotta be. If the rest of the world doesn't give a shit, not to mention, like, if the global warming thing isn't a sham, why did, like, one of its biggest proponents buy a freaking mansion on the beach in Hawaii on sea level? That's weird. I thought the sea was going to rise 20 feet in the next 10 years. Why are you buying a mansion right on the freaking beach? You know, seems a little sus. A little sus, as the kids say. But what do I know? In Europe, they're really bad, you know. They'll put you can only have X amount of stuff to eat today because your climate purchasing thing. It's just like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's madness, people. The earth has endured far more than we can dish out, and it'll endure far more long after we're dead. It's just part of that whole thing where human beings think we're just the best thing in the world. Human hubris. Human hubris. It's a real thing. Drawing my little hover bridge here. Okay, I'll have to draw some little cars flying into the city there. Yep, so it's coming along. As you can see, we got our little city here in the foreground, and the wall to the city in the background there. Pretty cool. Need to darken those up in a few spots. Yeah. No Tartarians here. This is built by straight up robots. This city. We built this city.